The massive view screen of the Galactic Council chamber showed a single human ship drifting through the debris field that was once Earth. Admiral Sarah Chun stood at the helm of the UN's Phoenix, her face carved from stone. 3 months had passed since the Zarkonian Empire had reduced humanity's homeworld to glass and ash. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the Council," Lieutenant Min-Jun reported from his station. His hands trembled slightly as he worked the controls. The screen flickered to life, revealing High Chancellor Zex of the Galactic Council. His 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture of dismissal among his species. "Human vessel, you are ordered to surrender. Your species' resistance has ended. One ship cannot stand against the combined might of the Empire." Sarah's jaw tightened. Behind her, Commander Young-hoon whispered something to Dr. Soo-yeon, who nodded grimly. They all knew what the aliens didn't. The Phoenix wasn't just one ship. It was the trigger. "Chancellor Zex," Sarah's voice was steady, cold. "You watched as the Zarkonians destroyed our world. 8 billion souls, gone. You did nothing." "The Council voted for non-interference," Zex replied, his tentacles waving dismissively. "Earth chose to resist the Empire's expansion. The consequences were regrettable but predictable." Sarah turned to her crew. 23 humans, all that appeared to remain of their species to outside observers. Each one bore the same expression, controlled fury mixed with grim determination. She nodded to Young-hoon, who input a series of commands into his console. "Sending the signal now, Admiral," he confirmed. Deep in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, hidden among the rocks and debris, something stirred. Not one something, but thousands. Humanity had learned from history. Never put all your eggs in one basket. For 50 years, they'd been building in secret, using automated factories hidden throughout the solar system. The Zarkonian commander, Warlord Zircon, laughed through the communication channel. His reptilian features twisted in amusement. One ship sending signals to dead rocks? Have the humans gone mad with grief? But then his tactical officer's scales turned pale. "Warlord, I'm detecting energy signatures. Multiple contacts emerging from the asteroid belt." "How many?" Zircon demanded. I cannot count them all, Warlord. The sensors are overwhelmed." Ships began emerging from their hiding places. Not dozens, not hundreds, but thousands. Each one was smaller than the Phoenix, but they moved with perfect coordination, like a swarm of angry hornets. These were humanity's ghost fleet, automated vessels built in secret, waiting for the activation signal. Impossible. Zex's composure cracked. "Our intelligence said Earth had only a defensive fleet. Where did these ships come from?" Sarah allowed herself a cold smile. "You thought you were watching us, Chancellor. But we've been preparing for 50 years. Ever since we made first contact and saw how the galaxy really works, might makes right, and the strong devour the weak. The Ghost Fleet began to move, accelerating toward the Zarkonian battle group stationed near Jupiter. Each drone ship was equipped with humanity's latest innovation, quantum phase missiles that could bypass shields. Admiral Chun, another human voice, crackled through the comms. "This is Captain Marcus Webb of the UNS Retribution. The colony ships are safe. All 47 of them." Zex's 4 eyes widened in shock. The Council had been so sure they were monitoring humanity's only surviving vessel. They never suspected that humanity had launched colony ships years ago, hidden them in the outer system, waiting. "You see, Chancellor," Sarah said, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's vengeance, "you thought we were just one ship, one last desperate survivor. But humans have always been good at 2 things, surviving and learning from our mistakes." The first wave of Ghost Fleet drones reached the Zarkonian battle group. Explosions lit up the darkness of space as quantum phase missiles found their targets. "This is just the beginning," Sarah promised. Humanity remembers its debts, and we always pay them back with interest. The view screen went dark as the council cut the transmission. But it didn't matter. The message had been sent, written in fire across the stars. Humanity was far from finished. Asterisk 3 days after the Ghost Fleet's revelation, the galaxy watched in stunned silence as humanity's true preparation came to light. Deep beneath the surface of Mars, in pressurized caverns that sensors couldn't penetrate, lights flickered on for the first time in months. Colonel Marcus Webb stood in the command center of Haven Base, surrounded by thousands of civilians who'd been living in darkness, waiting for the signal. His daughter, Emma, worked at a nearby console, her fingers flying across the holographic interface. "All 12 Mars colonies are responding, Dad," Emma reported. "Population count, 2.3 million souls, all accounted for." Marcus nodded, relief washing over his weathered face. The evacuation had begun 2 years before Earth's destruction, disguised as mining operations. The Galactic Council had been so focused on Earth's visible military buildup that they'd ignored the massive mining ships traveling to Mars. On Europa, Jupiter's ice moon, another surprise awaited the galaxy. Commander Lisa Park activated the underwater cities that had been built beneath the moon's frozen surface. The heat from volcanic vents had kept them warm, hidden from any scanning technology. "This is Aqua Base 1, Lisa broadcast on encrypted channels. 600,000 colonists, ready for deployment. Our shipyards have been working non-stop. We have 300 combat vessels ready to launch." The Zarkonian Empire scrambled to respond. Warlord Zircon stood on the bridge of his flagship, his claws digging into the command podium. "How did we miss this? Our intelligence network spans the entire solar system." His intelligence officer, a slim creature named Vexter, cowered before him. "They used our assumptions against us, Warlord. We believed humans were too primitive to build undetected. We monitored their communications, their visible construction. But they built in silence, in darkness. Meanwhile, in the asteroid belt, the real surprise was about to be revealed. What the aliens thought were mining stations were actually something far more ambitious. Captain Jin Sato stood in the control room of Asteroid Base Alpha, built inside a hollowed-out space rock the size of a small city. "Initialize Project Hammer," Jin commanded. Throughout the belt, hundreds of asteroids began to move. Not randomly, but with purpose. Each one had been fitted with engines and guidance systems, turned into massive kinetic weapons. They began accelerating slowly, their trajectories calculated with precision. "Sir, the Galactic Council is demanding communication," his communication officer reported. "Put them through," Jin said. Chancellor Zex appeared on screen, his tentacles writhing in agitation. "What are you doing? Those asteroids ... Where are they heading?" Jin's expression was calm, almost serene. Every major military installation of the Zarkonian Empire, every shipyard, every fleet base, every warrior training world. We've calculated the trajectories perfectly. In 6 months, they'll arrive at their destinations, traveling at 20% the speed of light. That's genocide." Zex protested. "No," Jin's voice turned hard. "Genocide is what they did to Earth. This is justice. Call off your dogs, Chancellor, or watch their empire turn to dust." On Titan, Saturn's largest moon, the fog parted to reveal something that made even the veteran space observers gasp. Dr. C.O. Yeon, who had supposedly been on the Phoenix, was actually standing in a massive shipyard. Behind her, stretching for kilometers, were the skeletal frames of capital ships under construction. The Phoenix was a decoy, she explained to her engineering team. "While they watched one ship, we've been building a fleet that rivals any in the galaxy. The automated systems have been working for 5 years straight. The numbers were staggering. Humanity hadn't just survived. They'd turned their entire solar system into a fortress. Every moon, every planet, every significant asteroid had been touched by human ingenuity and determination. Sarah Chun, still aboard the Phoenix, received reports from all the hidden colonies. She opened a channel to the entire galaxy, using the emergency frequencies that every civilized world monitored. To all species listening, she began, "Humanity offers you a choice. Stand with us against those who would commit genocide, or stand aside. We have no quarrel with peaceful civilizations, but those who supported our destruction, those who watched and did nothing. Your time is coming." The Zarkonian Empire, which had ruled through fear for 1,000 years, suddenly found itself facing an enemy it had gravely underestimated. They had destroyed one world, thinking it would end humanity. Instead, they had awakened something far more dangerous, a species that had learned to hide its strength, to plan in secret, and to strike when least expected. Asterisk. 6 weeks had passed since humanity revealed its hidden strength. The galaxy watched in a mixture of awe and terror as the human fleet mobilized with precision no one had anticipated. In the command center of Battle Station Olympus, hidden in Neptune's shadow, Admiral Chun coordinated the most complex military operation in human history. "Phase 1 complete," reported Commander Jung-hoon. All civilian populations have been moved to secure locations. Military assets are in position. The main display showed a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy's local cluster. Red dots marked Zarkonian military installations, blue represented human forces, and green showed neutral systems. The blue was spreading like a virus, surrounding and isolating the red. "Admiral, we're receiving a priority message from the Talarian Republic," Minjun announced. "They want to discuss an alliance." Sarah raised an eyebrow. The Talarians had been neutral during Earth's destruction, but they'd also been victims of Zarkonian aggression for centuries. "Put them through." Ambassador Kree appeared on screen, her feathered form ruffled with nervousness. "Admiral Chun, my people have watched your preparations with great interest. We offer our support and that of 12 other species who have suffered under the Empire's rule. This changed everything." Sarah had expected to fight alone, but humanity's show of strength had inspired others. "What are you offering, Ambassador?" "Intelligence, supply lines, and safe harbor for your ships. In exchange, we want a seat at the table when this is over. The galaxy needs new leadership, not based on fear, but on mutual protection." Before Sarah could respond, alarms blared across the station. "Admiral, the Zarkonians are moving." Jung-hoon shouted. Their entire core fleet, 5,000 ships, they're heading directly for Mars. Warlord Zircon had decided to strike first, throwing everything at humanity's largest known colony. It was exactly what Sarah had hoped for. "Execute Operation Checkmate," she commanded. In the space around Mars, what appeared to be empty voids suddenly shimmered. Thousands of minds, each no bigger than a basketball, decloaked. They'd been placed there months ago, using stolen Zarkonian cloaking technology that humanity had improved upon. The Zarkonian fleet, confident in their numerical superiority, jumped directly into the trap. The first wave of ships hit the minefield at faster-than-light speeds. The explosions were visible from Earth's ruins, a cascade of fire that consumed hundreds of vessels in seconds. But Zircon wasn't finished. "All ships, activate point defense. Clear a path through the mines." The remaining Zarkonian ships began firing, trying to clear the minefield. That's when Phase 2 began. From Mars' surface, massive railguns emerged from hidden silos. Each shot fired a projectile at 10% the speed of light, punching through shields like paper. Captain Marcus Webb coordinated the defense from Haven Base. "All batteries, focus fire on their command ships. Emma, activate the virus." Emma Webb had spent 2 years perfecting a computer virus based on captured Zarkonian technology. Now, as the alien fleet systems networked to coordinate their defense, the virus spread through their systems like wildfire. Ships began firing on each other, their IFF systems corrupted. "It's working," Emma exclaimed. 40% of their fleet is compromised. Meanwhile, the human ghost fleet emerged from the asteroid belt, catching the Zarkonians in a pincer movement. The automated drones showed no mercy, no hesitation. They rammed enemy ships when their weapons were depleted, each sacrifice calculated for maximum damage. On his flagship, Warlord Zircon watched his mighty fleet crumble. "Impossible. We are the Zarkonian Empire. We have conquered 100 worlds." His tactical officer turned to him, fear in all 6 of his eyes. "Warlord, we've lost 60% of our fleet. We must retreat." But retreat wasn't an option. The kinetic asteroids humanity had launched were still on course for Zarkonian worlds. If their fleet was destroyed here, they'd have no way to stop them. Sarah. Sean opened a channel to Zircon's flagship. "Warlord, you have one chance. Unconditional surrender. Order all your forces to stand down, and we'll redirect the asteroids away from your populated worlds. You dare dictate terms to the Empire?" Zircon roared. "The Empire is broken," Sarah replied coldly. "You broke it the day you destroyed Earth. Now choose, surrender and save your species, or watch them burn as ours did." The bridge of Zircon's ship fell silent. Outside, the battle continued to rage, but the outcome was no longer in doubt. Humanity had turned the hunters into the hunted, and the galaxy would never be the same. The surrender of Warlord Zircon sent shockwaves through the galaxy. On the Galactic Council station, emergency sessions had been called as species after species demanded answers. How had humanity, considered a minor, barely spacefaring civilization, brought the mighty Zarkonian Empire to its knees in less than 3 months? Chancellor Zex stood before the assembled representatives, his tentacles drooping in defeat. "The humans deceived us all. While we monitored their visible activities, they built an invisible empire throughout their system." "That's not deception," interrupted Ambassador Kree of the Talarians. "That's survival. We all knew what the Zarkonians were capable of, yet we did nothing. The humans simply prepared for the inevitable." In the Sol system, the transformation was remarkable. Ceres, the largest object in the asteroid belt, revealed itself as humanity's primary shipyard. Dr. Seo Yon gave a tour to the allied species representatives, showing them production lines that could build a battleship in 3 days. "We learned from Earth's history," she explained to the amazed delegates. "In our Second World War, America built Liberty ships in days, not months. We simply applied that philosophy to spacecraft. Modular design, automated construction, and parallel assembly lines." The vegan representative, a crystalline being named Shard, resonated with curiosity. "But the resources required, how did you acquire them without detection?" Co Yan smiled. "We told everyone we were mining asteroids for rare minerals to trade. We were mining them, just not for trade. Every gram went into construction. We lived on ration supplies for 5 years to build this. On Mars, the hidden colonies had fully emerged. Cities that had been buried under regolith now extended gleaming domes toward the red sky." Colonel Marcus Webb stood with his daughter Emma in New Shanghai, the largest Martian city, addressing a crowd of 2 million humans who had lived in hiding. "We're not hiding anymore," Marcus declared. "Earth may be gone, but humanity lives on. We'll rebuild stronger than before, and we'll ensure this never happens to another species." The crowd erupted in cheers, but Emma noticed something else. Representatives from dozens of alien species were in the crowd, recording everything. Humanity's story was spreading, becoming legend. Meanwhile, Sarah Chon met with the defeated Zarkonian leadership on a neutral station. Zircon, stripped of his military rank, sat across from her with barely contained rage. "You've destroyed an empire that stood for millennia." "No," Sarah corrected. "You destroyed it when you chose genocide over diplomacy. We simply finished what you started." She activated a hologram showing the new territorial divisions. "Your core worlds will remain under your control, but your military will be reduced to defensive forces only. Any aggression against any species will result in immediate retaliation from the Human Alliance." "The Human Alliance?" Zircon spat. "You have no right." "We have every right," Sarah interrupted. 43 species have already joined. They're tired of living in fear. Humanity offers them something different: mutual defense without conquest. Jin Sato, who had commanded the asteroid weapons, presented the new defensive doctrine to the Galactic Council. Every member species contributes to a joint fleet. No single species controls it. Decisions require a majority vote, with veto power for any species facing extinction-level threats. "And who leads this alliance?" Zex asked suspiciously. "It rotates," Jin explained. "No permanent leadership. We learned from Earth's United Nations, both its successes and failures. This is version 2.0, designed for the stars." The real shock came when humanity revealed its final secret. Deep in the Kuiper Belt, beyond Pluto, massive gates were under construction. Captain Lisa Park explained their purpose to the stunned council. "We call it the Exodus Protocol. These are jump gates that can send ships to other galaxies. We're not interested in conquering this one. We want to explore beyond it. But first, we'll ensure this galaxy is safe for all peaceful species." The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't seeking revenge or dominance. They were offering a path forward that no one had expected. They'd proven their military might, then immediately pivoted to exploration and protection. Young Emma Webb, now Earth's youngest ambassador, at just 17, addressed the council with wisdom beyond her years. "Earth is gone, but its dream lives on. We dreamed of reaching the stars, of finding new life, of peaceful coexistence. The Zarkonians tried to end that dream. Instead, they've spread it to 1,000 worlds. We offer you all a choice. Join us in building something better, or stand aside. But the age of empires built on fear is over." ****. 1 year had passed since the fall of the Zarkonian Empire. The galaxy had transformed in ways no one could have predicted. Admiral Sarah Chun stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, humanity's gift to the galaxy, a massive space station built at the intersection of 12 major trade routes, where all species could meet as equals. "Admiral, the memorial is ready for unveiling," Mingjun informed her, his voice soft with emotion. Sarah nodded and made her way to the station's center. There, floating in a sphere of zero gravity, was a holographic Earth, showing the planet as it once was: blue oceans, white clouds, green and brown continents. Around it orbited 8 billion points of light, one for each soul lost. Representatives from every allied species had gathered. Even some Zarkonians were present, those who had spoken against the genocide and now sought redemption. Warlord Zircon himself had been tried and imprisoned, but his son Zarval stood among the crowd, head bowed in shame and respect. "We gather not to celebrate victory," Sarah began, her voice carrying across the silent assembly, "but to remember why we fight for peace. Earth died so that no other world would suffer the same fate." Emma Webb, now a full ambassador, presented the new galactic charter. "The United Stellar Coalition is officially ratified. Mutual defense, shared technology, and most importantly, the protection of developing civilizations. Never again will a spacefaring species destroy those who cannot defend themselves." The charter was revolutionary. Humanity had insisted on protections for pre-spaceflight civilizations, something the old Galactic Council had never considered. Already, 12 species that had been marked for conquest by various empires were now under protection. Dr. C.O. Yan had led another remarkable project. "We've completed the Genesis Protocol," she announced. "Using Earth's genetic banks that we saved, we can preserve the biosphere of any threatened world. Life is too precious to be extinguished by war. The Genesis Arks, massive ships designed to carry entire ecosystems, were humanity's insurance policy against extinction, not just for themselves, but for any species that requested it." Jung-hoon presented the military report. "The Ghost Fleet has been repurposed. Instead of weapons of war, they're now an early warning system spread throughout the galaxy. Any aggressive fleet movement is immediately detected and reported to all coalition members." But perhaps the most surprising development came from Mars. Marcus Webb announced the completion of the Phoenix Project. "We're terraforming Venus and the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, but not just for humans. Each world will be shaped for different coalition species. The Sol system will become a symbol of unity, where all species have a home." The Talarian ambassador, Kree, spoke with wonder. "You lost your world, yet you offer others new ones. This is not the response we expected from a species that faced genocide. That's because you expected us to become like our enemies," Sarah replied. "But humanity's greatest strength was never our weapons. It was our ability to hope, to dream of better futures, even in our darkest moments." Young Zarval, the Zarkonian heir, stepped forward unexpectedly. "My people were wrong. We believed strength came from dominance. You've shown us it comes from lifting others up. I pledge my life to this new way." The transformation of the Zarkonians was perhaps the most unexpected outcome. Without their empire, many had discovered art, science, and philosophy they'd suppressed for generations in favor of warfare. Their warrior culture was evolving into one of protectors rather than conquerors. As the ceremony concluded, Jin Sato revealed humanity's final gift. "The jump gates are complete. In 1 month, we launched the Exploration Initiative. Any species that wishes to join us in exploring beyond our galaxy is welcome. We go not as conquerors, but as students of the universe." Thousands of applications had already been received. The galaxy that had once feared expansion now embraced exploration. The difference was simple. Exploration meant learning and growing together, while expansion had meant domination. Sarah stood once more at the observation deck, now joined by representatives of dozens of species. Where once Earth hung in space, there was emptiness. But that void had been filled with something greater, a legacy of unity forged from tragedy. "They thought we were just one ship," she said quietly. "They never understood that humanity isn't about numbers or firepower. It's about an idea that together we're stronger than apart." The stars stretched out before them, infinite and inviting. Humanity had lost its cradle, but in doing so, had helped the galaxy find its soul. The age of empires was over. The age of exploration had begun. And among the stars, Earth's children carried on, not as conquerors, but as guardians of life itself.